Welcome to another WED Web Chat. Hi, I'm Kanan Chandran, the publisher of stormasia.com, a site that brings together a variety of views on various topics that we discuss. Today's chat, Don't Write Us Off. It's about movements that help build bridges. Between our panelists, we have, I would say, more than 200 years of experience and expertise in connecting with people and entertaining them. Now, entertainment is a wonderful way to bring generations together. Now, beyond that, it's also about how they can be acknowledged beyond a thumbs up and a congratulatory handshake to continue to make a living, because I think that's key in this world, in this day and age, and in Singapore, where costs are going up and everything is becoming expensive. What you thought you could retire with 30, 40 years ago is not what you can live with anymore. So you have to continue living. Many of us have to do that. So today I chat with the panelists about the level of support they are receiving to continue with their chosen vocations. Now, Don't Write Us Off is the beginnings of a movement to enable those still fired up with drive and determination to make something of what they are doing, regardless of their age and what the system may not necessarily provide for them. Okay, panelists for today's session. Kuo Po blew up as a storm as Asia's only female singer saxophonist in her early years in the industry. Now she's an entrepreneur in the entertainment industry, developing concerts and managing artists. We've also got Desmond Moey, who's the artistic director of Musical Theatre Limited Singapore. He is a composer, singer, songwriter, and show producer, and he has no plans to retire from this, though he has retired from his job as an engineer. Stephen Francis, who continues in the industry he started out in as a child with his sister, Irene Francis. He specializes now in jazz and pop music and is involved in community engagement projects through music. And he's also one of the key people in an upcoming concert, Don't Write Us Off. Poet, director, and author D Sudheeran is still going strong. After retiring from a job he held for over 3 decades as an engineer, he amplifies his ongoing passion for the arts, which he has been involved in for more than 50 years in the Malayali community in Singapore. He has won several literary awards in India and is still going strong with a lot of productions here. Simon Ong, who switched from the corporate world to join charity TRCL as its head of fundraising and program management for intergeneration programs. He hopes the Bloom Fund, a TRCL initiative, will develop intergenerational activities, especially for isolated seniors in community. In the current climate of voicing one's opinions, let's hear what the panelists have to say about what works and needs fixing in the system. Let me ask the panelists for a quick question. What do they feel are key factors that will help them in their onward journey?
We have all progressed on in age, and we never thought that we would be 60 or whatever age that comes after that. We always thought that we're a beautiful 30 all the way, but the 60s are the new 40s, right? So I think that's very important for us to kind of like be connected, like listening to what the young people are listening to now, and the initiatives that we should be taking up. Actually, I know our pace are getting a lot slower, but I do think that it's very important for us to be listening. I'm running a school, like Desmond. We talk about connecting with the young people through musical theatre. I'm a big fan of musical theatre, and kids these days do want to be involved with music, and besides the pop music, they are into musical theatre, which can run on for like 20-30 years, old stuff. and that's how I connect with them, and also with with Stephen, right? And he's working a lot with a lot of young new musicians these days, and I think that that's one way through music that we're able to be connecting with the new generation. And like tonight, I have a recital I'm producing tonight, and I have 12 singers, and the age range between 7 to 70. So, these are some of the things that we can do to kind of like bring everybody together. I think that getting to an age where we are kind of thinking that we should be slowing down. It should be about is about thinking about relearning and reinventing ourselves to our own capacity.
Well, Sudheeran, what are your thoughts about the state of things now and what could be done to improve it?
I'm 79 years of age, and I'm still creatively engaged, not only in one field, many fields like drama, writing, poetry, short story writing, scripting drama and directing it, making karaoke videos for friends to enjoy. So many things I do. I mean, I have many passions, to be frank. But once after retirement, it is fully blown. Now I'm doing so many things. Every year, this year also, I staged a drama which I directed in uh, Goodman Art Center for 3 days. But one thing I would like to say is, uh, if you want to go after your passion, you must have what is called financial freedom, financial independence. Without that, I can never go after my passions.
Wonderful to see you still so actively engaged
Yeah.
at the age you don't look like at 79. Wow. Okay. Desmond, what are your thoughts on this?
For me, I've been a career with Seagate Technology and Dell, and but I think I have some music in me, lah. And so the opportunities were given for me to exploit or to experience music a lot more. In fact, actually, for everybody, I think that when we grow older, it's an inverse relationship, meaning that we should make things less simple, complexify it, I call it. I know the common thinking is that, oh, let's make things very simple. But I thought that maybe it's good to complexify my life. And I got 10 computers running. I got 8 phones. So I'm always doing stuff. I just finished my master degree in songwriting with Berkeley, Boston, Massachusetts. When I started this after 10 years of no studying, my brain was half dead, I think. Although I was doing things and you cannot do assignments, but after a while, somehow you get back, So I encourage everybody here to use whatever money you have left to do a rigorous course, literally take exam type. I know we fear this kind of things at this age, but it's good for the mind. And from there, suddenly the flowers look better, the sky looks bluer, and when you travel to any country, everything looks good because your mind begin to come alive again. So working with the seniors is a key point today because I'm in that category. I understand them. And we do a lot of song, singing, band playing, and so forth. And beyond this, we use musical theater to help people love, this kind of performing arts, not just for themselves, but they go up to the homes. They sing in the homes. They work with special needs places, even in the prisons ministry. So we think, I think I'm plugged in the right place. And like I said earlier, I don't intend to retire. I hope that I'd be given the gracious opportunity for my last moments to be installing the latest software, music software. Then I transition to the next phase.
Stephen, let's hear from you and your concert that's coming up.
Yeah, the concert is coming up July 31st and 1st, 2 nights concert at the Blue Jazz Clarke Quay Central. We have lots of legends in the concert, people like bands like Jive Talking, Speedway, who hasn't performed like donkey's years. Now I bring them back, come and, do a couple of songs and, some young ones, upcoming talents, and so forth. There's so many names. And this is not the first one is going to happen. We will continuously do more of this concert and hopefully to try and cover most of all the artists that we have in Singapore, whether it's old or young. Although we are old, like Kuo Po say, we are slowing down. I don't think we can slow down, Kuo Po. At this stage, we cannot slow down. Slow down means our brains are dead. So we got to keep on going to keep our brains working.
No, I didn't say
To keep
slow
it
down.
young.
I said we seem like we're slowing down, but we're not
Oh,
slowing
we
down.
seem okay. Sorry.
Because the body's the heart is
No, the
feeling, but
mind
the
wants to
body
work, but the body
sometimes,
cannot move.
Yeah, no, we're not
Understand.
slowing down. I don't think we're slowing down at all. It's just that I think it's about being selective about what we want to do with such a shorter time that we have. I'm not slowing down at all. In fact, it's actually, I don't know why I'm always running out of time.
That's a good sign.
Never,
It's a
never.
physiological disconnect most of the time, right? The
Yeah.
brain is willing, but the
I
flesh is
thought
a bit
I'll be a
draggy.
lot freer
Yeah,
now,
true.
but I'm not. It's like every minute there's always something going on. So yeah, Stephen, I'm not slowing down. In fact, I think
Okay,
I'm
good.
busier than ever. It's
That's
just that we
good.
have
That's
the experience to make better choices now. To what we want to do, what we can do. I think that I do agree with the aspect about financial freedom, because that does give us, the, how do you say, even more choices as to what we should be doing.
That's why we have
We got
companies
to.
like TRCL to
yes. And
support
on
us.
that note, let's move to Simon. Simon, tell us a bit more about why TRCL has decided to get into this space.
TRCL stands for the Rice Company Limited. We've been around for the past 20 years, right? Serving the underserved children, the youth through arts and also to be more inclusive, right? To bridge the social divides. And the demographic of Singapore have been changing. For example, in 1970s, where we have one senior supported by about 30 people. But in 5 years' time, in 2030, there'll be only one senior and only 3 people that are supporting one senior. So that's where we felt that the strain to the society and we heard so many times that people are isolated, seniors are being kept at home and so on. All. So that's where we felt that there is a need to change. And TRCL took a bold initiative to create this fund called the Bloom Fund. Basically, is a intergeneration fund that we will be using to connect the senior, the youth, and the children, right? How can we put these 3 people together, right? So that at the end, there'll be bridges being connected and we can support each other, right, in this journey, right? Especially in Singapore. As all of us know that we are an aging population. So if we can create this Bloom Fund to connect everyone, right, especially through music, right, something that is light and easy, right?
So for this Bloom Fund, is it going to be restricted to just music and the arts and culture only, or would it take it into a wider space where you sort of introduce other aspects of society, other interests that people might have?
Yeah, okay. So we are a arts and culture company, right? So yes, we will focus greatly on the art and culture, but in art and culture, there is many shape and forms and so on all. So I saw one of the panel, there is one question about AI and so on all, right? Yeah, so I thought it would be nice if we can leverage AI, right? Instead of worry about AI, but can we harness AI on some of our seniors, their memories? For example, like case in point, when I talk to those seniors, those that is 60 and above, and I say, what is your perception of the old National Library? Then everyone will smile at me and say, oh, the old National Library is the red bricks, is at Jalan Stanford Road down there. But when you reach to the younger people and you say, what is your perception of Singapore National Library? Then they will say, oh, it's a nice glass house, 7-story high at Bras Basah Road, right? So there is a disjoint. But if we use AI, right, to harness and interview the seniors and so on, all right, there is this project that we are doing call immutability, right? Basically, is we capture the memories of the seniors of lost places, for example, the National Library, the National Theatre, right? And then ask them, and using AI to find the product, and then we get an AI artist to then modify and customize so that at the end it will be as real as possible, and then we will display out, right? Like what I said, we are a arts and culture organization, so if that results, right, it will give at the end of the day dignity back to the seniors. So these are some areas that we are doing, right?
Okay, so Stephen, you've got a number of older artists. You're resurrecting some of them, like Speedway, to perform. Who's your audience? I mean, a lot of younger generation don't know who Speedway is, may not even have heard of them at all. They may be familiar with some of the music, but are you reaching out to an older audience, or are you trying to get a younger audience to appreciate some of Singapore's historical characters?
We hope to get, of course, there's young people as well, because Speedway, Patrick, he's got his son, so that's where the internet generation comes in. The father and son playing together on the same stage, the old Speedway and the young Speedway, that kind of thing, that's what we're trying to do. Maybe our next show will be myself singing and my son, doing something. So that kind of thing, So I would think the crowd will be a very mixed crowd. We also will have Chinese crowd because we have some Chinese singers in the lineup. Yeah.
Do you want Sudheeran to join your show as well? You can bring in some Malayali singing and bring his friends in as well.
Yeah, maybe the next one we can talk to him about some of the Indian stuff. It will be great, of course. Something different, multicultural, right? Yeah. I always love that. Different. Maybe you can mix Indian with Western music. You never know, right? What you can come up with. A lot of things.
Recent drama staging, we had two dramas. One is Malayalam and one is in English. Yeah, English drama.
How fluent are the younger Malayalis in Malayalam?
Yeah.
Did you have an issue with that? Was that the reason for doing this, so that they could get drawn into the culture via the English language?
But both English and Malayalam dramas both were appreciated by the same crowd, because most of the Malayalis can converse in English. So, at the same time, for the Malayalam drama, what we will have subtitling. That is a must. We always have a Malayalam drama with subtitling. So people without knowledge of much Malayalam can also enjoy the drama.
Okay.
And the youngsters, for the acting and all, we have a lot of talents. Especially, I tell you frankly, the expats. They want to go on stage, and to bring them on stage is very easy for me also, because the language is very fluent for them, because they came from overseas. The locals, of course, may be a bit difficult to teach them the pronunciation of the words and all. So, but of course, we'll have a combination of both foreign and local artists staging and acting together.
I think a multilingual actor is something that we all should try and go for. Like, for instance, Teochew opera mixed with fusion English singing, music theatre. And how to make people understand could be reflective. Like, say, when I speak in a foreign language, the guy answers and reflect the idea in, let's say, the English language. And so the interplay of dialogue can make it quite easy to understand. Of course, acting must be a bit more accentuated.
Just now, somebody was asking about the AI or ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to make special background pictures for my karaoke videos. The karaoke, the song will have a particular verse, and for that particular verse, I will ask ChatGPT, please create a picture I can put on my video. It gives me good video. Then, if a particular song I can't get a -1, I use AI to remove the vocal. But of course, not 100%, but 95% can get good -1 music. So I can make. So this
That's
age
good.
I'm using AI and ChatGPT to help me to make videos.
Although at this juncture, the ethics and the legal issues around these things are
Yes.
still being discussed. Yeah.
Yeah. So there might come a time when, the wall drops on everybody and you have to comply with certain rules and regulations that will come up.
Even
But-
songwriting, AI is creating songwriting, compose a song
Yes.
for you. It's
So there are
fantastic.
a lot of clauses in different things where you have to indicate whether you have used AI for any visual or whatever. I think it's more for the rights issues down the line, maybe. But coming back to what we're trying to achieve here today, which is about not being written off. Do you feel that you're being written off? Do any of you feel that, you are pushed to the side because there's younger, fresher, cheaper people out there that can be tapped, or you're irrelevant?
Cheaper
do you
people.
have- Yes.
Cheaper, yeah. There's always a cheaper group of musicians, will kill the market.
To replace
Huh?
musicians, it's not possible to replace musicians
Yeah,
job
you
aside.
can't. Yeah.
It's always there's always new musicians that's coming up. So like I said just now, it's how we make, if we want to perform, is how do we make ourselves relevant, and then who's our audience. I mean, as teachers, myself as a teacher, they always will need us. Sure, they can learn from YouTube, but you don't get that master program that you would get from a personal, one-to-one, personally. But I think if we were to perform, I mean, our fan club will always support us from whichever generation, and it's good for us to also sing and perform songs that might be rearranged and refreshing for the younger ones to kind of like to know. In fact, there are so many singers out there that are rehashing their songs.
Do you find that this is
Sure.
more for your own entertainment, or is it to educate others that you're doing this?
I think traditionally there's always this method from passed on, and then we develop new methods, and we have to take courses that will kind of like keep us on the go, that new things that's coming along. As for songs, I think it's both ways. I think that it's always amusing to hear and refreshing to hear new versions. I mean, I was just when I was in Portugal lately in the market, I heard all this band called Scary Pockets, and they were making refreshing, funky renditions of songs that were from the 80s actually, and I thought I love it so much, and I'm always listening to it now because they're so different. The Staying Alive and Crazy for You, and they're just different versions, so it's very relevant, and the young people are listening to that. So
The young people think it's a new song,
Yeah.
not knowing that it's in the 80s, Yeah,
right, you're right. So and it's
exactly.
very
Just like
creative.
Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
Just like Michael Bublé, right? When he was popular, right? All the young people crazy over him, but they don't realize that these songs are all recorded in the 50s and
50s,
60s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Now we in the professional world know that we can actually arrange any music any way we want. It's like Kuo Po says, target marketing, right? You want to appeal to, in your case, Stephen, that good program coming up, just do music that they like, that's all. You want young guys to jump around there, you just listen to the latest Spotify, you get the kind of feel, and then you just arrange it accordingly. Yeah.
So with the Dawn Writers of Movement, right? Where do you want to take it? I mean, do you have a vision for it?
We want to continue this to do not only English. That's why I mix a little bit of Chinese and see how it goes, how the response is with the Chinese incorporated with the English, lineup. So our next one in a couple of months maybe could be all just Chinese, and then after that, it'll be all just Malay, that kind of thing. So this movement will carry on, will carry on as long as we can, get as many talents in Singapore as we can.
Correct.
I don't know if we can sustain how many years of this.
Really, we want to do at least 3 years, right? A yearly event for the English speaking as well as the Malay and Chinese and so on, right? Yeah. So being a multinational culture, Singapore, so we have different flavors and maybe even a little bit of intergen, like what Stefan Francis was saying about playing with your kids and so on, all right. And I think it would be nice to have this link and the connection between the generation, right? So I think it's very, very important.
So I think for Simon, the Bloom Fund can be actually the like a catalyst or center point where all of us here will tap the Bloom Fund, right? You're supposed to get money from all the rich people, put into this Bloom Fund. And then your Bloom Fund will fund all of us here, and do things. How about that?
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. So that's the idea. So our audiences here so know that Mr. Simon Ong is going to open a wallet for all of you to put money in.
Yeah,
and then from the money
in before you can.
We'll put all your details out there.
And I believe you're also institutional public character, Simon. Is it?
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. So therefore, if you drop in 10K, you get 25K shaved off your taxable income.
2.5 times.
The Bloom Fund, how it all started, me and Colin just talking about some of the older musicians who are really sick, able, brain dead, stroke, they can't do anything. And most of the musicians don't have CPF, right? Our musicians. I mean, myself, we as musicians, we don't contribute to CPF. So most of the time when we are sick or whatever, our hospital bills is like sky crazy. So who's there to help? Families, of course, but families got their own family to support this and that, right? So what do? They come up to local musicians, try to do a fundraiser by themselves. And how much can they collect? Like 2,000-3,000 each time? That's not going to help them. Maybe to pay a little bit of the hospital bills. But most of it, it's not easy for those struggling families who are the so-called father or whoever is a sole main supporter, being a musician, supporting the whole family. So once he's gone, or he's crippled or cannot do anything else, how is he going to live? So that's why this Bloom Fund is created also, basically for these people.
Okay. Are you tapping government grants and things of that nature to keep the Bloom Fund blossoming and becoming a garden and beyond that?
You see, with this kind of things, the government don't support, right? So hopefully with this Bloom Fund, you can open the eyes of the government and say, this is what we're doing, for the older musicians who can't really support themselves medically.
I'm a bit confused. So, so you're saying that our peers and those that are older us are able to apply to the Bloom Fund if they're in financial difficulties?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And there are some rules and guidelines as to who can apply and how they should.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Of course, if your son or son-in-law is a doctor or a lawyer, then obviously, it's a little bit difficult, it's got to be a true outlet. Really
do a means testing sort of thing.
Yes, we have that.
Yeah. So
we have the database.
Let me just clarify a little bit. Yeah, so the Bloom Fund is meant for intergeneration, right? So the main purpose is to connect bridges and to help the isolated seniors, right? Yeah. So, but obviously we can extend if the Bloom Fund is, and we are also tapping on some government grants, not for this case, right? For example, like the Lumina Vitae itself, we are tapping on our government grants and hopefully keeping our finger crossed that they will give us some money, right? So that at the end of the day, we can do a little bit more meaningful and written, like what Stefan is saying, right? To give back the dignity to the senior, right? Get them involved so that at the end we can also help them, right? Yeah. So these are some areas that we are doing, and if we can grow the fund itself to a big amount of money, right? Then obviously we can even help more. So as of current, it's a baby fund. It's only 6 months old, right? If you shake the piggy bank, it's only coins, right? Yeah. So hopefully, where after this concert and so on, the piggy bank will be a bit more fatter, and we are happy to support more people, right? Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
right, Simon.
what's the ideal size that you're looking at for the fund? And
Ideal
how long
size.
do you think it'll take to get there?
Oh, good question. Yeah. So, like in ideal fund would be at least about 1 million, if not two, right? And not only that, no, because we need to be sustainable, right?
Going back to an earlier point you made about the ratios, you said there were 30 to 3 back in the 70s, right? 30 people looking after 3 seniors, and it's 30 to 1, sorry.
30 to
And
1,
now
yes.
now it's 3 to 1. Is that based on just Singaporeans, or are you taking the Singaporean residents in Singapore in that calculation?
I believe it's only Singaporean. Yeah. It's the stats came from AIC, right? So it's the government stats that I'm referring to. So
Because our population is also growing, right? We're getting a lot of people coming in. So is there any effort being made to integrate them into these sort of programs so that they too feel linked into the country that they're living in?
I agree. Fully support the foreigners. In fact, if we can tap on the foreigners, the visitors, and so on, that would be one area that I think is very healthy.
So there's a question here from Lynn who's asking, with so much experience in life, have you been able to learn anything impactful from the younger generation? Well, you've got interaction with a lot of younger people. What have you learned
I learned a
from
lot.
them?
I learned a lot. Right from the very first time I started teaching the younger ones, I realized that that they're quite different. For them, when they learn something, the reward is, I want to be loved. Whereas as we moved on through the years, it's always they're talking about, oh, my career, how can I be famous, and this and that. So I think when they go through the different, when they start off very young, as 5, 6 years old, it's like, oh, mommy's gonna love me if I were to do this. But when they're growing older, it's like, oh, how do I achieve fame and fortune? Some of them, they do that. And what do I learn from them? I learn resilience, a lot of resilience, and how, I think their schedule is a lot worse than ours. They wake up 6 o'clock to go to school, and they still go for tuition, they go for enrichment classes, one long day, no time even for homework. And the teachers forget that there are like 9 subjects and everybody gives us homework. And so resilience and how they basically work their days through them, so important. And I think it's about character. And I learned about parenting. I learned so much from them. I mean, those
So
are
many
not
of these
new
things,
skills, not new skills. I mean, of course, we are the ones that imparting the skills, but then by teaching, we also learn how to be better in our teaching.
it's essentially an update of your life, isn't it? Because when you were starting out, you also wanted to be good, you wanted to be loved, you wanted to be famous, etc., etc. Do you see it echoing in this, or have they changed the tune in some way?
Yeah, I think some of the kids do. They are quite idealistic. Of course, they see, oh, I want to go to Hollywood. I want to be in the movies. I want to be on stage in West End. I want to go to Broadway. And they're always, generation after generation, there are kids who dream. And it's really important that they dream and they get inspired. And it's just like someone like Nathaniel Ong, who has made it very successfully in West End. They are our iconic targets, where we hope that the kids may be the next Nathaniel Ong. So they have to dream and they want to have that fame. They want to be on stage, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just as they grow up, they have like different purpose. So, as a teacher, what do I learn from them? I mean, like I said, how do they navigate through their studies? How do they navigate through the parents and you know, the demands of their lives now to basically keep that dream alive?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dhiren, how about your side? You're working with younger generation with your plays as well, right? So what have you learned from them?
Most of my interactions with youngsters, number one is in drama. Number two, we have a literary forum where we have new youngsters who recently came from different parts of the world. They can bring in new ideas, the latest trends in the poetry writing or drama, or what are the visual effects. So they can transfer those things to us, because I have been away from my land for the last 45 years. So they can transfer such very latest knowledge to our group. So mostly in
So,
literature and drama.
so it's a chance for you to update yourself as well
Yes,
in the
yes,
process, right? Yeah.
really.
Okay. How about you, Desmond? Any dealings with the younger or generation and anything that you've learned from them?
They're not that young, probably in the 30s, 40s, a bit.
Okay, younger than us, so can lah.
I think there's a transitionary period, and I think the younger people I have, some are still very enthusiastic, but most are really still no depth. You know, they haven't. Wisdom is a function of time, and working with the seniors is actually a more rewarding experience at the moment. I just got to find a way. I thought I was very young, but still I'm not very young, so I couldn't understand them, and maybe their demands are a bit different. So, but I think they can benefit from trying to understand the older person, because you got the tons of wisdom here. And I always tell the younger learners, they come, I say, you got a head start in the sense that you're now with people who have dropped into holes and came out of it, you know, and they can tell you some things, and you can always learn in a creative way or in a operational way, right?
True. Stephen, yourself? Working with Stephen, working with the younger people, what have you learned from them?
Learn from them.
Wow.
Actually,
Even you're so funny.
in my point of view,
Stefan!
learn from them. I don't know. Learn from them to give excuses.
Hey, that's always a useful thing to know.
You're so honest.
Excuses. Why can't you come to work today? Say, oh my, I gotta send. Why can't you come for rehearsal? I gotta send my father to dialysis, my mom to the hospital, and all kinds of things. There's the young ones today for you, you know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, but musically, you know, a lot of them, the young talents are incredible, really. Some of them, I wouldn't say all, but some of them really work hard and to be where they are today, you know, the really young ones. I mean, I've seen Kuo Po's, you know, little kids from 5 until now they're like teenagers, and wow, how they bloom and how they sing, and now some of them even acting, modeling. Oh, it's amazing. So
Yeah.
we have the young talents, so we can really actually see, wow, this young fella not bad. I can curi some licks from him or something like that. You know.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're learning from that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we've reached the end of time for this. Thank you for being in today's session. I think you all brought very interesting perspectives of what you've been through into the discussion. A few things that have come through. Okay, the importance of dreaming. There's no reason why you can't continue dreaming as you advance in years. The dreams will be a bit more vivid, might be shorter, sharper, but they're still dreams. So try and fulfill them if you can. And I think learning from the younger generation is something which we can also do. But with the Bloom Fund, I think the opportunity is to continue perhaps the music industry's influence and involvement in society, and how it offers so much to people by way of entertainment and opportunity for work as well, right? So may the Bloom Fund become a major garden in Singapore. Yeah.